welcome to the Geekwave. We are here this week with Cursed Revolver. Or at least we're an EAE game now.
Cursed Revolver.
Yep, exactly.
Hey guys, I'm a Revolver.
Yeah, I'm just the problem.
He's the curse. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves and your game just a little bit?
I'm Scott. I was the lead artist on Cursed Revolver, and I just drew lots of stuff. Like most of the time, it's like all I did. So,
I'm Rajul, team lead, programmer, designer, whatever. Everything.
You were just kind of whatever you needed to be.
Yeah. Developer on the Cursed Revolver.
well, I helped with some game stuff.
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
did.
I drew the pictures, and I helped with some of the game.
A lot of the
design.
game
Some of it,
Mhm.
a little bit.
So you guys started this as in EAE. Was it a capstone project or?
Yes, it was. It was actually Raj's pitch. So
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, we can thank
Okay.
him for this game.
Yeah, are you going to tell us about how you
Yeah.
thought of it? Or did you just go,
Yeah.
that's a good idea?
Honestly, so when I started, I wanted to make a shooter, and I was trying to build a shooter around health, because I know, one thing Call of Duty really irritated me was that you go behind cover and you just automatically regenerate health and everything's good and everything's happy and you just go and kill everyone else.
I wasn't shot 10 seconds ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. And so
Totally
I think
fine.
I thought it killed the seriousness of the game and being shot, and I wanted to get that back. So I actually pitched. It started off as a multiplayer shooter, it was like a top-down multiplayer shooter where characters would change classes from tank to a DPS character and everything in the middle based on how much health you have left. So this is not the Cursed Revolver. Don't get confused.
No.
But this is what it started with, and then I got through one first and second round, and then it started to develop more. More team members came in, like Scott, and then it turned into what it is today.
From what I've experienced so far, it feels very roguelike, and the permadeath was not something that I expected.
Yeah, it's.
For those of you that didn't see, Lee is
Yeah.
the guy in the corner over there.
back,
yeah.
back behind me.
Yeah.
Is,
I've been relegated to hermit duty.
You stay over there, Lee.
For those who don't know what a roguelike is, a roguelike is basically... Oh, you know what? I don't even know how to describe it.
It's basically you start from the same fresh ground pretty much every time
Yeah,
you
so
play the game.
you die, you start over. You win, you start over.
You start over.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Your progression in a roguelike is not how strong your character is, but more how far you can get.
Yeah, at one time. So it's like a callback to the old arcade games like Contra. I guess that wasn't necessarily arcade.
Arcadey,
But
but
that kind of style.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you die once, it's over.
Yeah, and roguelikes are often random, and so it's a different game every time you play through. So that's where a lot of
High
the game value comes
repeatability.
from.
So
And reason we went roguelike was because we knew we had a year to do it in class, and we didn't know if we would keep doing it after class or not. And so we wanted to create something that people could keep playing instead of scripting a story or something that would end in half an hour and then you're done with the project, right? So we hope that people keep playing the game. Yeah.
that's cool. And you guys are still working on it?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Little back and forth.
Carried outside of the university, still kind of...
yeah, it gets a little complicated.
When did that decision happen to continue working on it even after the capstone was completed?
I think that it happened while we were still in class, because there are a whole bunch of festivals or conventions that you end up submitting your game to that happen after school is over. So
Yeah, you just kept going.
yeah, you know that you're going to be like GDC. You know that
Oh.
you're going to submit to that, and you have to pretty much arrange all of that before you even. Before that event comes, and so you have to stay together to a point.
Yeah,
if you're going to.
So that makes me wonder, what's it like having a game that's not even close to being finished and yet going around submitting it to these conventions and things?
It's so intimidating. We go to conventions, conferences and stuff, and show people the game, and they're like, "Oh, that's cool." And maybe they haven't seen it before, or do they really like it? We don't know, and we don't know who we're competing against. So sometimes it's just student games, and sometimes especially after graduating, competing with games that are not student games is a difficult task.
Especially
So-
when you go
Yeah.
against people who are funded by monsters like Microsoft or
Exactly.
Sony.
Yeah.
It's super scary. When we went to GamesCon, Was it Con?
Con.
Gamescom. There was our game in our tiny little booth, and then there were big games just on the other side of the convention, and just knowing that they were there was kind of a little freaky. But you know what's funny? I think we got more plays.
Yeah, and also like it felt good too, because like he said, they were there and we were there too, so it was like.
Yeah.
I don't know. We felt
I don't
accomplished
get it.
that we shared that space with them.
One
You
of
know?
my
You
favorite
made it.
parts of Gaming Con was actually finding the local games and giving them some play time and checking out that, because I do appreciate the gaming scene that's not controlled by Microsoft or Warner Brothers, literally changing none of their fighting system between any of their games and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. It's like you say. It's like Raj says. It's a little stressful, intense, but awesome at the same time. It's amazing. It's actually. I think that there's an energy when you go to places like that. There's an energy that makes you feel, if you ever had any doubt about your game, it makes you think, I can do this. Right. This is amazing. I want to keep going. And let's go.
We had spikes in our productivity where we would like start going down and nobody would be working on the game, or it'd be really, really slow. And then we would go to a convention, and then like the next day people would just like submit a bunch of stuff and like, guys, let's do this. I have like 15 different ideas and this and that. So it was
like,
really good.
Oh wait, we are making something cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and people tend to forget that, and it's hard to stay on the game. So,
it is easy to lose that drive, and then you get reaffirmed, and it's
okay.
It's great.
So I know that when you're making a game, there's this moment when things stop being like random squares just moving around doing things, and you start to realize as a developer that you're making a game, not just whatever the crap this is. How late into the semester did that honestly happen? Like, how close to the deadline did you finally feel like, oh yeah, we're making a game, not just a project?
I think I like distinctly remember one presentation that we had in class around like March, closer to like so that
you're cutting it pretty darn
yeah
close
like so for
there.
people who like don't know, that's like the second to last month of school, right?
Like your demo is like the first week of June if you're lucky.
Yeah. And it was very like, I don't know, they asked us for like what our end game was and what that should be the topic of the presentation. And that's when we like decided. I went up on like in front and I was like, oh yeah, and by the way, the teams decided to stick together and make this a real game, because we were cutting corners a lot, because like, oh, this is a student game, it's fine, we just need to get done. And then once we realized that we were cutting corners on places that we were really passionate about, we were like, we really want to do this and we don't have time for it. That's when we knew that, okay, let's just go all out and go for it even after graduation. So
yeah.
The zombie that I summoned here is stuck against a tree.
Oh yeah, that happens sometimes. There's with the random generation, the AI gets a little confused with some of the objects. Oh, that's yours. That's your skeleton, and that's something we're actually working on with bug-wise, is that dumb skeleton, which is sadly my favorite ability.
Yeah.
It's my favorite
I
ability.
chose the idea because I was like, I will be a necromancer.
He is. It's my favorite, and that's exactly what I do when I play. But he sometimes is dumb.
So it's about a cowboy that finds a cursed revolver, and the curse is positive and negative, because it gives him awesome powers, so he can shoot awesome bullets, and he could be a necromancer if he wanted. And you get all these cool abilities, but since it is a curse, every time you use those abilities, you lose health. So you're actually using your health to shoot your weapon, to use any abilities, and so that's why you're always like constantly looking at your health while you're playing this fast-paced game.
So it sounds like that adds a little bit more strategy into how you're approaching the game, and like you said, it focuses a little bit more heavily on health. Versus Call of Duty, where you round that corner, you heal instantly, you throw all these grenades, you get your kill streaks. Except in this one, your grenade hurts you, and your kill streaks, they hurt you. Yeah, exactly. Kind of thing going on, and that's interesting. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, because like every decision you make in the game, you have to quickly think about like, is this good for me? Will I get enough health back from the enemies if I use this ability, or am I just damaging myself and I'm just gonna lose at the end of it, right?
And these are all like things you have to think through really quickly as you're fighting in the middle of the action.
What was your favorite bug? Just What was your favorite bug? Because we all know Notch's favorite bug, and that is that he built the pig the wrong way so that it stood up, and thus the creeper was born. I mean, what was your favorite bug? Come on.
There's a couple. So we have destructible fences in the game. You can shoot down fences, and and then you can just walk through them, right? Sadly enough, we didn't think that the skeletons need to know that the fence is gone, so they would still think the fence was there and just stand there thinking there's a fence right in front of them. So if you found a fence at a narrow alleyway, you can just sit there and they'll line up for you, and it's but it was still very satisfying for some reason. And I've seen most people use that bug not knowing that the bug existed. So they're like, oh, I'm just really good at this. They're lining up for me, so I can do this, right? And so it's a feature. It's not a bug.
Right,
Come on.
right.
Yeah.
My favorite bug was actually that for a while they're your own skeletons, the ones that you summon. They wouldn't register for some reason to the enemies, and the enemies just wouldn't attack them. And so I had this setup where I would get the shotgun and then my skeletons on the other, and I would spend as many skeletons as possible to get just enough for about 2 shotgun bullets left before I died. And then I would shoot a gravestone at this one level where the gravestone will spawn a whole bunch of health, and then I would just summon all these skeletons again, and then I would rinse and repeat until eventually I had 40 skeletons running
Fighting
around.
for him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to do anything, so it was that was my favorite. When we nerfed the skeleton, I was a little sad.
So far, I got 3 of them.
So every level we introduce a new character. That's how the gameplay progresses, because there's this core game loop of you losing health, gaining health, killing enemies, losing health, gaining health, right? And so we wanted to introduce different kinds of enemies in the levels. So if you do play the game, just make sure you look forward to the new enemy in every level. So
Yeah.
Apparently, I had 4, and I didn't know one was there. They were just killing all these enemies in the body.
they are your army.
I'm going to name you Jim. You're Jim 1. You're Jim 2. And you, the one with all health, I'll name you Carl. Because obviously you did nothing.
So wait, why did Carl do nothing? What? Is that just a...
Carl.
It's a military in-joke.
Oh, okay. I'll go with it.
So as we wrap up here, I just want to know what your favorite parts of the game are. Not bug kind of things, but just your favorite part of the game.
I will go ahead and name my favorite ability. So after every level, you can get a new ability. And my favorite gun in the game is a piercing bullet.
It's a great.
It's a bullet that takes a lot of your health, but it passes through enemies and environment. So you can shoot people through trees. You can strafe in a way to line them up in a certain way and shoot one bullet to get 5 of them if you're good enough. Yeah, that's my favorite part of the game. I think it's the most satisfying. Even now, I try to do it all the time. So.
For me, the most satisfying thing about the game is honestly that looking at it as for what it is a game that is under development. My favorite thing about it is breaking it. I love to break it. I
that
test.
Is totally something an art director says.
I break so much. I just look for so many different things and different random variables to try, 3 skeletons plus 2 of this and 1. I don't know. Breaking is my favorite thing, and then I just laugh and I laugh.
And then he brings it to us, and we have to deal with it.
And I'm like, you guys are bad at what you do.
Okay, well, I have a quick comment here.
Yeah.
So I had my first death.
Oh.
Sadly, I barrel rolled into bullets. But I ended up getting 198, reached level 5.
Solid,
Nice.
solid
Oh,
score.
you were close to the boss.
Oh, now I'm disappointed.
Now you have to start over.
If you want to know more about the boss, you should play it yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, you should.
Link in the description, right?
Yeah.
You got a nice
For
link.
sure.
You gotta-
Yeah, Steam
Yeah.
page.
Very cool.
Early access.
Okay, well, thank you guys for coming on the episode, and we look forward to playing your game.
Awesome.
you for
Thanks for
having
having us.
Do
Yeah.
we ever say their real names?
I don't know.
I don't think we
said
ever
I was
said their real names.
Scott,
We'll keep it a
right?
mystery. Geek out, guys.